Good evening. My name is Dennis Ryan. As a treasurer of Menard Electric Cooperative, I would like to highlight the 2022 finance status of the co-op. I will be referencing the financial statement handout you were provided as you entered this evening. On the left side is the balance sheet. The co-op's total assets are shown on line 6 as approximately $80 million. Most of our assets are invested in our physical plant shown on line 1. This means the poles, conductors, and the equipment operating every hour of every day to deliver electricity to you. As you can see, Menard Electric is actively investing in its utility plant infrastructure year over year to maintain reliable service for its members. The balance sheet also shows members' equities and liabilities. I want to draw your attention to line 7, indicating total members' equity at year end was just over $33 million. This amount represents the members' ownership in the cooperative and indicates you own 41.5% of the co-op's total assets. These funds provide capital to help build new plant and improve system performance, with the understanding that any excess funds will be returned to the membership at a later date. Also important is having a good long-term financial plan, which includes balancing equity and debt. The levels of these capital sources are closely monitored by the management and by the board. Note on line 8, the co-op's long-term debt at the end of last year totaled almost $38.5 million. We are fortunate to have access to capital borrowing at interest rates tied to Treasury from the Federal Rural Utility Services. Our blended interest rate is favorable at 3.2% on long-term notes. On the opposite side of the page, you will find the previous year's income statement. Line 1 is the co-op's total revenues of $30.5 million, an increase of 4.3% over 2021 revenues. Line 7 is the co-op's total operating and fixed expenses of just over $29.8 million. I would like to share a key point regarding these expenses. Clearly, our wholesale cost to purchase power on line 2 is the largest expense at $18.5 million. It's important to note the co-op has limited control over this cost. For every dollar we collect, 61 cents goes towards power costs. The graph shown here provides a recent history perspective for this expense, and as you can see, the costs have remained steady for the last couple of years. However, our industry is facing new challenges as an evolution in electric generation supply sources and turmoil in the energy markets is taking hold. In her upcoming presentation, General Manager Alicia Anker will go into a bit more depth on this topic. Looking further down the income statement, line 8 depicts our operating margins of just over $673,000. As a not-for-profit cooperative, any revenues in excess of our expenses are aggregated with our non-operating margins shown on line 9 to reflect total margins. Line 10 demonstrates those total margins were just shy of $2 million. All of these dollars have been allocated as capital credits to each individual co-op member based on patronage. Menard Electric remains diligent in returning capital credits to you, the member owners. Just recently, $900,000 was returned to members who took service from the co-op during the calendar years of 2001 and 2002. This graph illustrates how your cooperative compares to other Illinois cooperatives. As you can see, Menard has refunded 34% of all capital credits allocated throughout the years, which is almost 9% higher than the average for other Illinois electric cooperatives. All this is done to meet another board priority, minimizing rate increases. In early 2023, the co-op made a few modest adjustments to rates. The board continues to evaluate rate structures and has engaged a consultant to perform a cost of service study to ensure each rate class structure adequately captures the co-op costs. I hope this report has given you a better perspective of the co-op's financial health. We continue to reinvest in our physical utility plant. We continue to ensure adequate margins and return capital credits on an annual basis. We continue to maintain a reasonable amount of debt, and we strive to be good stewards of cooperatives' resources. If you have further questions, I encourage you to contact the office to learn more. Thank you for your attention. This concludes my treasurer's report.